Welcome to The Short Score, your weekly update of roping news from around the industry, where you can find the latest on the sport from the pro rodeo ranks to the jackpot world. I'm Taylor Vollen, and I'm your host. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Short Score. It's your host, Taylor Vollen. We are a little over a week away from the NFR, and we have one last NFR rookie to introduce y'all to. Today, you guys are going to get to hear a little bit from Marcus Theriot. Marcus, of course, doesn't need much of an introduction. He's been making a name for himself since winning the junior high finals, the high school finals, the college finals, the timed event, and he's the son of world champion Herbert Theriot. Marcus made the NFR, like I said, for the first time this year, heading for his cousin Cole Curry, and I think it's safe to say a lot of people really thought Marcus would actually make the finals for the first time in the calf roping, and we actually talk a little bit about that on today's episode. We also just talk about what it means to finally make the NFR, what it took to get there, and what he's looking forward to the most. This episode is presented by 5-Star Equine Comfort Pads. 5-Star's exclusive wool, quality, and craftsmanship has set the standard in the equine industry. 5-Star's durability has been proven in the arena, on the ranch, and on the trail. Custom designs and styles to fit even the toughest of backlines, 5-Star has a pad for your horse. And, best of all 5-Star Equine products are handcrafted in the USA. Let us take the worry out of keeping your horse comfortable while you enjoy the ride. Customize your pad at 5starequine.com. So, I think everybody knows at least a little bit about who you are, but let's start with your background and how you kind of got into rodeo and roping and things like that.
My dad and my whole family rodeoed. I only had like one or two family members in my family that did not rodeo, so it was definitely a sport picked out for me growing up. Mm-hmm. That I was going to rodeo, and whenever I was a kid, most of my life was on the road, with my dad, and that's what somebody was talking about the other day. All the things kids do as kids whenever they're little, and most of my life that I remember whenever I was that little was on the road.
Right.
I can remember whenever I was little, like I remember places like Dodge City and Cheyenne and Salinas and places like that. Just I do have, kind of like flashbacks to them places whenever I go there. But it was cool growing up, on the road. And that was definitely the sport I was going to do as a kid. And then, like my dad said, I didn't really have a choice when I was a kid. And then once I was old enough to make a choice, if I wanted to continue doing it, that was my business.
Right. When do you think you kind of realized you wanted to make a living out of it?
I guess, always, especially, with my dad's situation, doing what he done for a living. And it was always, I'm going to rodeo for a living. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But I would say, kind of like whenever I won my first saddle, I think I was probably 11. Mm-hmm. That's when it, like, I can remember, wanting to be very competitive at it, after sometime in that area.
Yeah. So, you talk a lot about your dad, and obviously for good reason, a world champ, NFR qualifier. But was there ever any pressure from yourself to kind of follow in his footsteps when you were growing up?
No, I wouldn't say that. I've never felt pressure, far as that case. Mm-hmm. And he's definitely been a rock in my life, because there's never been no pressure for him, right, from him, as far as we've got to do good. But if we're going to do it, we're definitely going to do our best, and we're going to work at it, because, money wasn't a huge help in our life. So
yeah,
if we were going to do it and put forth the effort and the money, we needed to be able to be good at it and, doing it for a purpose.
Mm-hmm. And that's fair. I think, too, a lot of people, I mean, everybody knows that you had good, but I think a lot of people expected you to make it in the calf roping first. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Looking back, I think it was the part where I told somebody the other day, I think the part that drove me heading was that everybody thought it was my worst event. And it was almost like I'll make it heading probably my rookie year or I'll make it heading quickly and I can always go back to roping calves and bulldogging, and then by my 4th year in the PRCA, I'll be making it in all 3 events. And, it's just such a roller coaster. And as a kid, you face the facts of it and the real life, and it just things don't really work out like your childhood dreams.
For sure.
But yes, I would definitely say I should have made the finals roping calves first, because I was way better at roping calves than I was heading. And I don't know why I really lost the fire roping calves, but I love to rope calves. I do. It's not like I hate the event. I love the event, and you got to work really hard at it. And I didn't really have the horses whenever it was time for me to pro rodeo.
Right.
I had 2 decent head horses, and it just seemed to be I don't know. I don't really know why I did.
No, that's fair. Is that something you think might still be on your radar, or are you undecided?
Yeah, I've actually got a young horse now that's the first horse I've had in a long time that I had any desire to do anything with, and he's a pretty nice horse, and I've been roping calves a lot more than usual probably on him. I practiced 2 or 3 times on him. I haven't done that in 3 or 4 years, and I'm pretty excited about him. I don't know if it'll be next year, and it might be the year after that, but yeah, I would like to try roping calves again.
Right. You brought up how making the finals as a kid seems like such an easier thing to do almost. What do you think has been the most surprising thing about your journey to making the finals? What has kind of shocked you the most about what it takes?
Just the mental game of of staying gone. You're not at home. Since I was a little boy, amateur rodeoing with my dad, it's never been if we were going to win. It was how much we were going to win.
Yeah.
How we're going to win. And just, into the big leagues, you have got to keep that mindset no matter how bad it's going. I've seen guys, I'm sure he won't mind me using him for example, Tyler Wade this summer. I've never seen him struggle like that. And, I mean, that guy looked as down as you can possibly get. And then they come out of that and won like 20-something thousand at 2 or 3 rodeos. Right, and I mean, it's just, you've got to have the confidence that it's going to turn around, even when it seems really far-fetched. You're like, I ain't caught one in 12 steers. How am I going to win, 10,000 next week?
Yeah.
But I think that's just the huge part of it is staying mentally focused and keeping confidence in yourself.
Right. So, okay, on the same vein of the mental game, you guys fought the bubble there at the end. I mean, how was your mental game going through that? What was kind of on your mind?
There was a lot of stuff on my mind because I'd been in this situation before. Me and Dozier in 17, we were on the bubble and got to the Northwest. That was the year that all the fires up there or whatever, and his horse ended up getting pneumonia, and his good horse died up there I'm thinking it was, I'm trying to think of the name of that, Lewiston, Idaho, I think is where we lost that horse. And, after that, he was hopping around on horses, and we did nothing. And we, by the last week, we didn't even really have a chance. And so this year, Cole's horse, everything's going, didn't start the 4th off right, and then we got on track and was having a, pretty good summer. And got to Ellensburg, just thought we needed, about 10 more thousand. Had, I don't know how many rodeos we had left, but had plenty of rodeos left to get it. And he crippled his good horse up there. Well, then he got on his second string horse, and it was not going good. He didn't have, the feel that he had on his good horse, which none of us do.
Right.
I think a lot of people have numerous horses, and you can think whatever you want to about your horse, but your number one horse is your rock, and you've definitely got way more confidence on him. I don't care if you're riding your second stringer at an amateur rodeo. You still, that confidence to me is on my good horse. And, it wasn't going good. And then, there's all these thoughts, not again. And he ended up borrowing one of Colby Payne's horses that was the older horse and definitely proven. And we kind of got back on track there, and we done good at Ellensburg. And then everybody's like, and you're in. And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, no, you're definitely in. I think I had 91 after Ellensburg. I think it ended up taking 102.
Right.
So it just, after Ellensburg, everybody's, talking about you're in. So I think we won a little bit more, and then it was looking like it was going to take a lot more if the situation went right at Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
And it almost did. And what was crazy is before I went to Sioux Falls, I actually done really good at Pasadena and maybe somewhere else I placed. I don't remember. And anyways, everybody's like, oh, now you're for sure in. You just got to go get your partner in. And I'm like, well, I like winning everywhere I go, and I'm not going to do, it's not like I'm going for first with a, dumb attitude about it. And went up there, and sure enough, it was great. We done good at Sioux Falls, or I wouldn't have made it either. So it's just it was a long, stressful 6 weeks, 2 months, whatever you want to call it.
For sure.
From the time, our whole year had been pretty fairy tale perfect, really. We had a good winter, led into us not doing good at the start of the fourth, which it didn't matter because we had a little cushion from the winter. And then we got back on track, and everything looked, perfect. We just got to keep coasting, keep catching steers and doing our job, and we're fine. And then when we lost his horse, it was like, oh, God, not this nightmare again.
Right. God, yeah, that probably was like deja vu all over again for you, huh?
Oh, it so was. Pretty much same position in the Northwest with not much time left. It's not like, we had 3 months left.
For
we'll
sure.
try some horses around, get one that fits you, and then we'll be back on track. There's just no time for error out there.
I mean, we kind of already talked about it, but what are some things you feel like people at home might not understand about life on the road and trying to make the finals? A lot, I'm sure.
That's kind of funny you bring that up, because you hear people just talk about, oh God, I cannot believe he ain't caught one in so many years. And it's just like, man, you don't understand. Anytime you have a bad weekend around here, you go home, you put your horse in your stalls at home, you pin up your practice steers, you know what they're going to do, and you just, can kind of work on your stuff. Well, out there, you're liable to miss 6 in a row, can't find nowhere to practice, don't have time to find nowhere to practice. You miss, high call somewhere, and then you get in your truck and you drive 10 hours, and guess what you think about for 10 hours is messing up over their high call. People don't, I think the people that's never rodeoed, anybody that thinks they possibly can make the finals should go rodeo. And that way there, everybody's on the same playing field here on thinking about it. But it's just so stressful. You're not winning, you're not around your family. You talk to them on the phone, but it's not the same as being at home. And, you messing up over here, and, you get to see your mama the next day. Baby, it's okay. You're still great. You know, it's just not like that out
Yeah.
there, and you're gone for so long, and just it's tough. It is. I can tell you, I never thought about this kind of stuff whenever I was, you know, a kid going with my dad.
Right, yeah. So, kind of talking about support, family support, and how it does look different when you're on the road. Kind of talk a little bit about the support that you do have and how that is kind of a good thing, like how that does help though still.
From everybody that supports me, from family around here and friends that are close to his family, I mean, I look at them as they are family.
Right.
And it's just crazy because I thought about, you know, just driving the other day, I was thinking about all the stuff, you know, that I have to depend on other people for, just like when I'm gone and stuff needs done at home, and, you know, just people in my life support it. Nobody's getting anywhere in this business without support and help. You know, it takes a lot of that, and I definitely couldn't be where I am in my career if it wasn't for the support of my family and friends. And you know, it just, back to my dad, you know, having his success, it just, you know, out there when it's tough, we probably talk 3 or 4 times a day, and then it's definitely a help just to talk to somebody that's been in that situation, knows how I think, and, you know, really how I act in certain situations. That's huge for me.
Right. Okay, so kind of switching gears, what have you been doing since you've been home to prepare for the finals?
I actually set up the arena at my house and bought some steers that we thought would be pretty legit to the final steers. And we've been practicing here. I've went to Caleb Drew's house, and we roped there twice. I think we've been out there twice. So, and it's crazy just, you know, talking about the support of friends and family, just how much he's helped us with very little bit of stuff that I never thought about. You know, I always thought, I make the finals, I can take the bulldog and start and stick it on them. That's no problem. And just there's so much more to it, and just he's really broke it down for us and helped us with that. And you know, just right back to where you are. It's when you really look back at your stuff and think about your career, it's very humbling where you would be without the help of other people. But we've just been practicing and going. Whenever I first got home, we went to a few circuit rodeos and went to the circuit finals, and just roping, hanging out, enjoying home for sure.
Is the whole family going to go out there with y'all?
Yeah, at different points of the week.
Gotcha.
Pretty much. Yeah, a lot of my family's coming out there.
Well, I ask because I know you've got quite the big family that's very involved. So. Yeah,
that's right.
So I'm assuming you probably picture that first steer in the Thomas and Mack every day, huh?
Oh man, it's so crazy. That's what I told somebody. I told somebody the other day. They're like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "I'm ready to running." And they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, I feel sharp, and I'm sick of waiting to run this steer.
Yeah.
I'm at a point now where let's do it tonight. Like, my patience aren't very good. And this situation of just a waiting game is, I'm not about it.
Yeah. Okay, probably the silliest question, because I think it's an easy but a hard question to answer at the same time. But what does it feel and mean to finally make it?
Oh, it's a great feeling, you know, just since I was a little boy, you know, planning on making it. And then, you know, this was, I think, my 6th year, and I had to put a lot more years into it than I planned on it taking for me to make my first finals. And I think that's made it a lot more special, really, is how much work and years I've had to put into making it. And I think that's built it up even more for me. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's just rodeo. We do it because we love it, and it's fun. So that's kind of the way I'm going to take this. It's just another steer, pays a lot more than most of them, or all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, it's just another rodeo.